Oh, hello there. I'm sorry, I was just reading about flowers I didn't see break into my house. Well, let's put that aside. I was just sitting in this completely natural position on my bed. Now, I am Katie the Terrible, and I am the author of the really, really long fanfiction series, Fairytale Next Generation. So I am here to answer your questions. This is my face. This is my voice. Now that that's dealt with, let's get on with it. What was the first anime you watched? My first anime I watched when I was in 6th grade. It was Rosario plus Vampire. I regret it because I was too young to understand most of the references and felt very uncomfortable watching most of it. I rewatched the entire series when I was older and didn't enjoy it. Don't know if I'd enjoy it now. But yeah, it didn't get me into anime. The one that got me into anime was Black Butler, and I watched that in 9th grade. What was the first book you ever wrote? This one. It was the first thing I committed to. What was your inspiration behind my favorite monkey friend, and did he ever eat grapes before he met the love of his life? I don't know. I was just like, hey, talking pig and monkey. Wouldn't it be funny if he was married to a grapefruit? Which are different from grapes, by the way. I don't know if grapes would be his children or not. Like, there's a lot to delve into there. Do you have an all-time favorite meme? Yes, I do. The one I use most often is the perfection meme from X-Men First Class. Show me the real meme. I said the real meme. Perfection. That's a creepy thing to say to a girl. Who is the first character you thought of and created? Did they ever make it into a story of yours? Who? I don't know. Where can we support you? Smiley face, flying money emojis. So, right at the moment, there's nowhere you can specifically support me. I am thinking of making a Patreon, but I'm not sure I'll have a lot of supporters, but what's the harm of making one? But I'm also trying to figure out the benefits, so stay tuned. How is your mental health? It's a very important question because my mental health is not great at all. I'm actually on a medical leave from school right now because I couldn't get out of bed, which is why updates might be a little more regular now because I'm going to have a lot more free time. So thank you for asking, and thank you for your concern over my mental health. How do you feel if your work would become an anime, and would you do it? Yes, to both of those questions. Out of all the characters and volumes, which was the hardest, and which was the easiest? Well, alright, of all the characters to write, the easiest would probably be, at the moment, I'd say the easiest character to write is Leiden, because I really relate to what he's going to at the moment. But the hardest character was Nashi, because I didn't really relate to her at the beginning of the volume, which is why her introduction's really kind of passive. She's just sort of there because she's supposed to be there, and then eventually she does get her own ground, and she does get her own character and her own journey that, we can invest in. But at the beginning, I was very cautious and uncomfortable writing her character. Not so much anymore, though. The hardest volume to write is definitely the one we're writing now, volume 4, because it is so tough. There's so much happening, and I've really built too much up, frankly, that it's just all coming crashing together at times, which makes it difficult to write because I don't want it to seem so messy. But the easiest volume, I'd have to say, I guess easiest as in the easiest to write was probably volume 1, because it was very slice of life, introduction, and I was writing it very casually. There wasn't a incredibly intense overarching narrative that was happening yet, so that whole shtick. So yes. So how did you come up with all those amazing backstories for each of the characters, especially Marigold's? I have no idea. I don't remember where Marigold's backstory came from at all. I think the main thing when I was writing it, though, that I was trying to understand and try to get to convey was the feeling of isolation that Marigold put herself into and that she was raised in. And just a feeling of shame for something that you're not entirely responsible for. That was what I wanted to try and convey, and that's kind of how her backstory formed around that, and how she experienced the world, and how they treated her, and I just wanted to try and capture that, and hopefully I did. All of the other backstories sort of kind of came out with the characters as I tried to understand how the characters are the way they are. I think one character that I'm really proud of the backstory is Elwyn, actually, because when you look at a character like Elwyn, you kind of want to see him at face value, but as it becomes more important, you have to dig deeper, and the thing is, Elwyn is one of the most confident characters in the entire cast. He feels so comfortable being himself all the time, which annoys everyone, but that's why he's such a good character. And that's why he's so enjoyable. That's what makes him so great. And as I delved into his backstory, I tried to understand why he was so confident and how he brought himself to that point where how maybe he wasn't always so sure of himself because he didn't have a lot of friends. And his only friends were his cousins and Layla, because she hang around them. And eventually they all left because Liz left and Xavier and Layla both left together, so he was alone. So he had to find a way to be okay with being alone, and that's how he built up his confidence. And that's a journey that I think we're all on, and he's way ahead of everyone else in that regard, which I love to think about, that Elwyn is probably the most emotionally well-adjusted character, and he's like the weirdest one. It's so great. So great. What's the weather like outside? I don't know. Let's go outside. This morning I had to wear a coat, and now I'm burning up in my car. That's the weather. We're all gonna die. I regret that. Will the spice continue? I don't know. You tell me. This was a button-up shirt, that would be better. So what is your favorite anime trope? My favorite anime trope is when a girl eats something and she makes a little noise before she does it, where she's like, ow. And I don't understand why they do that, but it's a thing. If you were to put yourself in the story, would you be a character you already created, or would you make a new one? Definitely not make a new one, because if I'm being honest, I feel like a lot of the characters are just alterations of my own personality, so I'd have to be hanging out with myself, like, all the time, like the worst parts of myself, too, and that's just not fun. So I definitely put myself in the shoes of one of the characters, and probably I would choose Sylvie, because, Sylvie's the most closest to my own life. I can deal with the chronic depression and being afraid to leave my house. I do that. But also I get to be married to Lori. And he's not perfect, but he's cute. He's like a sex icon. He's so hot. He's so great. But I would be pregnant. That would be great. So, I had a bit of a technical difficulty and my camera shut off in the middle of recording. So now my friend and former roommate Grace is going to be in the background helping me, and she's going to be reading the questions off, which makes me very nervous. She's never read the story and is not allowed to read the story. So let's just hope this goes well. All right, Grace, are you ready?
Almost.
All right, I'll just cut this out.
Can you sing?
Can I? Pass me the baritone ukulele. It looks like a guitar, but there's only 4 strings. Alright, this song goes out to everyone who ever thought I'd fail. No? Is that fine?
That's fine.
I'm great at this. I'm such a hero.
Fantastic.
All right, that aside, next question.
What is your spirit animal?
My spirit animal is definitely an elephant because I don't feel like I fit into any room I'm in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I wrote an entire poem about it. Should I read the poem?
No. When's the next chapter coming out?
I don't know, Grace. When is the next chapter coming out?
Right now.
I literally said that like 3 times in the chapter where I asked for questions, but I got the question multiple times. Sorry, ukulele.
It'll be fun to have the chapter. It's like the chapter comes out with the question. Yeah. Okay. If you had to spend a week alone in the woods with only one other person from Fairytale, who would it be?
Guild Arts, because I don't know, I kind of think he's pretty hot, and you know, he's used to living alone in the woods, and I feel like if he could take care of me, keep me from dying, and also maybe we'd like make out a little, which I'd be okay with. Yeah.
When is the next chapter coming out?
I don't know, Grace. When is the next chapter coming out?
Right now.
Right now.
Will Jalal
Jalal.
in the game? You know I'm great with names.
Oh gosh, Jalal.
Katie.
Jalal, I don't think he'll make a very important cameo. He might show up because he's a good father, but I don't think he's going to have a very important role in the end of the arc.
Okay. This sounds like a very interesting book, Katie. Is Lydon ever...
Leiden.
ever gonna remember Marigold in volume 4? This is Roman numerals.
Yeah, I use Roman numerals for my volumes because I have volume 1, 2, and 3, and I use Roman numerals.
Yeah.
For...
It's just I'm dyslexic, so whenever it comes to 4...
Oh, that's hard.
It's like, oh, is that 4 or 6?
Yeah, that's gonna be rough. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, that is 4. I don't have 6 yet. That's probably when I'll cut off. Only 6 volumes. I do the story kind of in trilogies, if that makes sense. And
is Lydon ever going
Leiden!
to remember? Why?
I'm sorry, I'm very firm on that because people are like, no, I don't like the pronunciation Leiden, and I'm like, too bad, it's Leiden.
Is Leiden ever going to remember Marigold?
That is a bit of a spoiler, but
Tell me, what's your favorite anime?
I'm probably gonna go with Fruits Baskets. Of course.
I could have guessed that.
I love Fruits Basket so much. I love the manga. I love everything that's come out from that entire series. I've read the sequel series, and I've been watching the new series and cannot wait for summer for the next season to come out. It's my favorite anime. I relate deeply to Kyo, actually, the guy who's angry all the time, mainly because of his personal struggle with his relationship with his mom.
You haven't... You know, you and your mother, terrible.
No, the thing is his mother loved him deeply, but was very controlling over his him trying to keep him from ever turning into his like bad form, and I've always related to that in the sense that my mother loves me so much, and I know that, but she's always been very controlling over my mental health and making sure that I never tipped over. She was like always pushing my medication and trying to fix it as though it was just some sort of easy thing to fix. If I take this med, I won't ever have any problems. And it's not, it's complex. And, you know, that's something that she struggled to understand, and it's taken a lot of time to communicate that to her, which is why I really related to that.
Yes. Who is your favorite Fairytale character?
You can go with Urza. Urza is a wonderful character because not only is she one of the strongest people in the entire series, but she's also she's allowed to share in masculine and feminine traits, which is great to see in a female character, that she's not all the way masculine and she's not all the way feminine. It's just a great mix. She's so comfortable in her own sexuality, and she's such a nerd at the same time. She's so awkward and weird, and I love how...
Her power is basically cosplaying.
Yes, her power... She has the power of cosplay. I mean, that is the most accurate statement. But I love her character. She's so fun to watch when she's in a scene. I love how intense she is.
Alright. First anime crush, and why?
Wait, is that really a question?
Yes.
Okay,
You wrote these.
I forgot! Okay, so I didn't really have... I remember the reason I started watching Fairytale was because I saw a gif of Gray taking off his clothes, and I was like, take me to that! That's literally the reason I, went in...
Like, the first thing I saw, it was, some sort of weird music video AU, and the first scene on it was when Gray was in Lucy's body, and Lucy's... That was the first thing...
I have to be naked!
That was the first gif I saw of anime, of Fairytale.
Oh, that's sweet. We share. So...
We share.
Mm-hmm.
The
only difference was it was him and Lucy's body. But I remember watching that and being like, yes, please, thank you for that. So that's why I watched Fairytale in the first place. And I guess he'd be my first crush, I guess, because, I've never been obsessed with, anime boys, I guess. Yes.
I mean... Who's your first, animated
cartoon
in
crush?
Cartoons.
I don't know, the guy from 101 Dalmatians. I always thought he was pretty cute.
The husband? Who gets
Yeah!
married?
The guy with the nose, and, the piano player, and he hunches over and does, this, and I love he's so lanky, I like him. He's cute, There's a fly in here.
That wasn't one of your questions, by the way. That was just me.
Really?
Yeah. Because I wanted to know.
You want to know?
Do you base characters off of real life people?
Okay, so I do not really do that. I don't really base... the one character that is based off a real person is Nervek, who is... His entire... almost every single line he says in his time in the story is pulled directly from a conversation I had with a guy, where he just continued to just, hit on me and say inappropriate things to me, and even though I said no over and over again, he took no as an opening for an argument. So I based him off of that conversation, but not really off of that person. I do that. I will base interactions between characters off of interactions I have with real people, but none of my characters are directly based off of anyone. I do have a couple characters I named after people I know. I named Justin and Andrew are both named after two dudes I know, one of which I dated. That doesn't mean anything, though. That means nothing.
It's just easier to come up with names if you've already known them to be used by real people.
I don't know, I just came up with the name Andrew and Justin. And Duke, actually, was Andrew's alias, and that was also a guy I knew. Mm-hmm. He's dead now.
Was there a particular part in your story that made you frustrated to write because you didn't know how to write it or go forward? Basically, writer's block.
I know the guy who wrote that, and that was the most ostentatious way of saying, have you ever had writer's block? And it's
there's another whole sentence.
I know,
there's to read it?
Sure, read it.
Like having a huge wall before you where you have no idea what to do.
I wish there was an easy term to describe that feeling. Okay, so
it's like you're being blocked.
It's you're a writer, and you're being blocked.
I'm sorry, I'm making fun of your fans.
No, he's actually a friend of mine. He's the guy I'm writing with, He writes Vile Sacrifice, which is the kind of, it's not like a sequel series or anything like that. It's sort of or a spin-off. It's just kind of an attached series. I keep hitting this. I'm gonna move that. I get writer's block nearly every single chapter, which is why the chapters are falling apart, even though the length is pretty intense. The way I normally get through it is I will typically just kind of destroy everything I've done. I usually get writer's block when I have an idea of how a story should go and the direction it should go, and I have A and C, but I don't have B. So typically I will look back at everything I have, and I'll have to just honestly allow myself to destroy A and C because it's just not working, and I have to deal with that reality. and I'll just destroy it and start from scratch. And typically, after a couple tries, I do find what I want. Like right now, I'm actually rewriting Volume 1 because I hate myself and I want to rewrite it. Dang it, it's not very good.
Are you rewriting it as not a fan fiction?
No, I am. It's still a fan fiction. I'm just writing it to make it better. I mean, I've written the characters out of the context of the fan fiction before, but you know, and I've written some really interesting stuff there. But I'm rewriting Volume 1 as, you know, like as just a continuation of Fairytale. And anyway, I do really I had a really hard time writing the first chapter. I rewrote it 3 times before I actually liked it. Actually, technically 4. It's really just not being afraid of destroying your own work, because sometimes you'll work so hard that you don't want to go back, but sometimes you have to if you want to go forward. Writing metaphors. That's not really a metaphor.
Basically all of animating.
That's basically animation,
they tell you, hey, you're gonna have to destroy most of your drawings. You're chill with that, right?
Yeah, you're okay with killing your children, right? Ooh, I hope we don't clip that out of context. That'd be really awkward. Ah!
How do you make your characters so gosh darn entertaining?
Thank you. Well, I guess what I suggest, the way to make characters entertaining is by using yourself in them. Most of my characters are just iterations of myself and problems I'm going through, just put on steroids, like pumped full of cocaine. Is that how cocaine works? Can you pump someone with it?
Why are you asking me?
I don't know. You're the crackhead. Gosh, so I typically will take quirks of my own and then just like put them on steroids so they're like entire characters basically, and then work from there. I think the best way to write stories and characters is to be honest and truthful and write from your heart and not from another perspective that isn't your own. I feel like a lot of writers fall short when they're writing characters that are emulating someone else that they aren't, because then they're just trying to mimic someone else. Like, they're writing characters based on other forms of media, like what they saw on TV, like this trope type character. And that's when the characters aren't interesting or fun, because they're just an iteration of something everyone's already seen.
Now, this one's in all caps, so I'm going to shout it. When is Lydia going to remember Mary?
That you said the wrong name! When is Leiden? Leiden.
Okay, let me redo it then.
Okay.
When is Leiden going to remember Mary?
Marigold.
Marigold.
Marigold, okay. Like the flower, marigolds?
Yes.
Yeah, that's her name.
It's shortened and I don't know what
her full name's Marigold Pollen because she's a plant mage. It's adorable.
I love it.
I
recently created a character. Her name is Mint Chocolat.
I hate you. Screw you. Oh, I love it.
I got in the bard making.
You have so many bards now. What's with you in the bards?
I've got 2
You
bards.
watched The Witcher and now you're like, toss a coin to everyone. Oh, gosh.
I only have 2 bards. It's just that I made them back to back.
Okay, so again with the Leiden and Marigold question, they'll get there when they get there. They're on their own individual journeys. Leiden is honestly just a hot mess right now. You're just gonna hate him for a couple chapters, okay? He's gonna make out with people he shouldn't be making out with. He's gonna it's poor Felicity.
That might be too much of a spoiler.
Well, he's already had sex with like a character that, everyone's super mad because he had sex with Felicity, and then everyone was like, no, he was supposed to lose his virginity to Marigold, and then he reveals in the next chapter, actually I've had sex with multiple people because I'm a man who's sexually active and has desires, and then everyone's like, no.
How dare you?
How dare he? And yes, so he'll get there. They'll get there when they get there, but they have their own priorities right now, and they are not each other's priorities. So, just wait. All right.
How do you make your characters so No, wait. I
already read that.
How do you balance your time for writing?
All right. So, right now I am on medical leave, which means I have a lot of free time until I get a job. Until I will get one. But when I was at school, I typically would just write whenever I could instead of hanging out with people. that's what I did in my room naked all the time. I would just sit there naked writing. No, I would typically do it when I was already driven, so I would do it between classes because I already had high energy levels because I was working so hard in class, and this probably isn't going to work with everyone because some people might just want to take a nap when they get home, but I would just like ride off that energy, and then between classes I'd just be writing, and especially because I really enjoy writing, so it was something that was fun for me to do, and it helped keep my spirits up.
Which character do you most relate to?
So the answer I typically give to this is there are 3 characters I really relate to, which are Leiden, Sylvie, and Marigold. And the reason I say this is because so Marigold is basically my personality. She emulates my personality with my sense of humor. But Sylvie is a lot more my emotional state and my experiences in life. She has dealt with very severe depression, and she's actually bipolar, like I am. I've never told you that before. Now you know. So I emulate a lot of my anxieties about being diagnosed as bipolar into her, especially in the entire chapter where it's literally her just being married and struggling to like exist with that issue with her husband, because like one day she's like super happy, super horny, the other day she's like in bed sobbing and is scared to leave her house. And also the agoraphobia that she's totally dealt with. I did not leave the reason I went on a medical leave was because I was too scared to leave my own bedroom because of how severe my depression was, and so I deeply relate to her issues. But then there's Leiden. And Leiden is such a hot mess. I kind of say his thought process is similar to mine because I was literally at the bank and I was like near tears because for no reason. And then I was like, I'm not a real person. I'm just a bundle of anxiety and problems in human form. And then I paused sitting there in my car nearly in tears and went like, that would be something Leiden would think. And then I felt okay for a little bit, and then I felt terrible again. So basically...
Because Leiden's a hot mess of a character?
Yes, he's currently a hot mess of a character, and he's like, his mind is just so negative that it'll just cling to anything bad and then just like distort it so largely that it's like his entire life. And that's something that I've been dealing with a lot recently. So, I try to, and it's great because I can emulate these things into these characters, and it makes it so fun to write them. Because I can write, about my issues with the bipolar diagnosis with Sylvie, and then I can write about my terrible anxiety-ridden mindset with Leiden, and then I can just write my sense of humor in Marigold, and she's fun. She's fun. All right,
That's why all my characters are depressed.
Yep. Ha! Funny. It's funny. Not all my characters are depressed. So
That's why you're the professional writer.
So wait, don't stop recording it. I have to say my goodbyes. What? How do I say goodbye? What should I say?
Do the Girl Scout song, Bleaker a little longer.
I don't know that one.
Oh.
No, I did make new friends but keep the old. Some are silver but the other gold.
Do you know all of the lyrics to that? There's another verse.
A circle is round, it has no end. That's how long I wanna be your friend. Okay, anyway, so thank you so much for listening and watching. If you did watch, I hope you're not reading and listening at the same time because that'd be just confusing.
Read the chapter.
Read the chapter. Please enjoy the chapter, and I hope to see you guys soon, either in video form or in literary form.
She's becoming a YouTuber now.
No, I don't want to be a YouTuber. This isn't my life now, is it?
This is your life.
Oh no! Just me sitting on my bed with my fairy lights.
Yep.
It's gonna be great. Alright, bye! Wait, what? Why'd you do that? Why would you do that?
It blacks out.
You might already be on camera. It just...
I think it's recording now.
Is it this...
There's a red dot, and it's going red.
Nervous about this.
I've never...
You just took a picture.
Yeah.
So... There's a red dot next to the screen.
Yes, with the camera thing.
That?
I pressed it.
Is it recording right now?
It doesn't say that it's recording.
Well, press it again because you hit it. Don't hit the camera. It's shutter. Don't hit the shutter. Hit the thing.
So, can you sing?
Can I? Pass me the baritone ukulele.